What if I told you that success has less to do with your talent, your resources, or even your intelligence, and everything to do with what's happening inside your mind? Tony Robbins says success is 80% psychology and only 20% strategy. Think about that. Two people can have the same skills, the same opportunities, the same plan, yet one wins and the other quits. Why? Because psychology determines whether you take action, stay consistent, and push through fear. If you want to understand why some people rise no matter what, and how you can rewire your mindset for success, stay with me until the end. Lesson 1. Your state determines your results. The core of Tony Robbins' philosophy begins with the understanding that your internal state is the engine behind every action you take. Most people believe that their results dictate their emotions, that they will feel successful once they reach a goal or happy once they find a partner. However, Robbins flips this script by asserting that your state, the snapshot of how you feel physically and mentally in this exact moment, is the primary filter through which you view the world. If you are in a beautiful state of courage, playfulness, or determination, you have access to your full range of skills and intelligence. Conversely, if you are in a lousy state characterized by frustration, fatigue, or doubt, even the most brilliant individual will struggle to perform basic tasks effectively. This isn't just motivational fluff. It is a physiological reality of how our nervous systems operate under stress versus under peak performance conditions. To master your state, you must first master your physiology. Robbins often demonstrates that you cannot be depressed while standing with your chest out, breathing deeply, and looking up at the sky with a massive grin. The mind and body are an integrated loop. By changing the way you move, you change the biochemical cocktail flowing through your veins. High-performance states are often triggered by power moves or radical shifts in posture. When you find yourself slumping or breathing shallowly, you are literally signaling to your brain that you are in a state of defeat or withdrawal. By consciously intervening in your physical patterns, clapping your hands, shouting, or simply standing taller, you break the neurological pattern of mediocrity and force your brain into a state of readiness. This is the reset button that allows you to approach a difficult meeting or a grueling workout with the energy required to win. The second pillar of state management is the control of your internal dialogue and focus. Your state is heavily influenced by the questions you ask yourself. If you are constantly asking, "Why does this always happen to me?" or "What if I fail?" you are directing your brain to find reasons for pain and stagnation. A shift in state requires a shift in inquiry. By asking, "How can I use this?" or "What is great about this situation that I'm not seeing yet?" you shift your focus from the problem to the solution. This mental reframing changes your emotional experience of the environment. When you combine a powerful physical posture with a focused, empowering inner narrative, you create a peak state. In this peak state, your RSS, reticular activating system, begins to notice opportunities that were previously invisible, and your behavior aligns with the person you need to be to achieve your highest aspirations. Lesson 2. Beliefs shape your reality. Beliefs are the invisible blueprints of our lives, acting as the commanders of our nervous system. Tony Robbins teaches that a belief is not necessarily the truth, but rather a feeling of absolute certainty about what something means. Whether a belief is empowering or disempowering, your brain will work tirelessly to prove it right. This is known as confirmation bias. If you believe the world is a hostile place, you will overlook acts of kindness and focus solely on conflict. If you believe you are not a math person or bad with money, you will subconsciously sabotage any opportunity to learn those skills because your brain seeks to maintain consistency with your self-identity. We will do more to stay consistent with our own definition of ourselves than almost anything else in life, which is why changing your beliefs is the only way to create lasting transformation. Most of our core beliefs were formed in childhood or during moments of high emotional intensity, often without our conscious consent. We adopt the beliefs of our parents, our peers, and the culture around us, creating a global belief system that dictates our potential. To change these, Robbins suggests we must first identify the limiting beliefs that act as anchors on our progress. These are the "I can'ts" and "I'm too old" or "I'm too young" narratives we tell ourselves. To break a belief, you must challenge its validity by finding counter-examples, instances where your belief was proven wrong. You must also link massive pain to the old belief and massive pleasure to the new one. By creating a sense of disturb, the feeling that keeping this old belief will cost you your future, you create the leverage necessary to snap the old neurological connection and wire in a new, more supportive one. Ultimately, our beliefs act as the thermostat for our success. If you set your internal thermostat to poverty or struggle, no matter how much money you make, you will eventually find a way to return to that baseline level of comfort or lack. To expand your reality, you must expand your belief about what is possible for you. This involves incantations, not just affirmations said into a mirror, but declarations made with total physical and emotional intensity. When you declare a new belief with your whole body, you are installing it into your nervous system. As these new beliefs take root, your actions begin to shift without the need for constant willpower. You no longer have to try to be confident. You simply are confident because your foundational blueprint has been redesigned to support that reality. Your life is a reflection of your beliefs, and by changing the inner map, you inevitably change the outer destination. Lesson 3. Success is about standards, not goals. Tony Robbins famously asserts that we don't get our goals, we get our musts. Goals are items on a wish list, things we would like to have if the price isn't too high or the journey isn't too hard. Standards, however, represent our baseline for what we find acceptable in ourselves and our lives. We all have shoulds. I should lose weight. I should start that business. I should be more patient. But shoulds rarely get done. It is only when a should becomes a must that our behavior undergoes a radical and permanent shift. This is the power of raising your standards. When you raise your standards, you are essentially redefining your identity. You are deciding that you will no longer tolerate a certain level of health, a certain type of relationship, or a certain income bracket. You move from the realm of preference into the realm of necessity. The difference between a champion and an average performer isn't necessarily a difference in talent. It is a difference in what they are willing to tolerate. A high-standard individual views a good performance as a failure because their standard is excellent. When your standard is excellence, you don't need a coach to tell you to work harder. Your own internal code demands it. Raising your standards means looking at every area of your life. Your physical fitness, your emotional intelligence, your financial discipline, and asking, what is the absolute minimum I will accept from myself? If you tolerate mediocrity, that is exactly what you will receive. The world pays you for what you are, not what you want. Therefore, to change your external world, you must first change the internal demands you place upon your own character and output. One of the most effective ways to raise your standards is to change your peer group. Robbins often says that proximity is power. If you spend your time with people who have lower standards than you, you will inevitably lower yours to fit in. However, if you surround yourself with people who are playing the game at a much higher level, their normal becomes your flaw. When everyone around you is fit, focused, and financially thriving, you are forced to step up just to stay in the conversation. This social pressure is a tool for growth. Raising your standards isn't just about working harder, it's about a fundamental shift in what you believe you deserve and what you're willing to fight for. Once you make that internal shift and declare no more to your old ways, your brain finds the strategies to meet the new standard you've set. Lesson 4. Focus creates feeling. At any given moment, There are a million things you could focus on, the things that are going wrong, the things that are going right, the tasks you haven't finished, or the beauty of the world around you. Tony Robbins teaches that where focus goes, energy flows. Your emotional experience is not a result of your life circumstances, but a result of what you choose to focus on within those circumstances. Two people can experience the exact same event, such as a job loss, and have completely different emotional reactions. One person focuses on the loss of security and the fear of the future, leading to depression. The other focuses on the opportunity to pivot to a career they actually love, leading to excitement. The event is the same, the focus is different, and therefore the feeling is different. To master your focus, you must become a guardian of your own attention. Most people allow their focus to be hijacked by the news, by social media, or by the complaints of others. This leads to a state of learned helplessness, where you feel as though the world is happening to you rather than for you. Successful people train their minds to focus on three specific things: what they can control, what they have, gratitude, and the future they are creating. By focusing on what you can control, your effort, your attitude, your next move, you reclaim your power. By focusing on what you have, you enter a state of abundance that allows you to think more creatively. When you dwell on what you lack or what you can't change, you effectively paralyze your ability to take meaningful action. Developing a focus muscle requires daily discipline. Robbins suggests starting the day with a priming exercise, a directed meditation where you focus on things you are grateful for and visualize your goals as already achieved. This primes your brain to look for those specific patterns throughout the day. If you don't pick a focus, the world will pick one for you, and it usually won't be one that empowers you. You must consciously direct your mental spotlight toward the win. This doesn't mean ignoring problems, but rather looking at problems long enough to find the solution, and then focusing 100% on the execution. When you control your focus, you control your biochemistry. You can move yourself from a state of total despair to a state of absolute certainty simply by changing the mental images you hold in your head and the questions you ask yourself about them. Lesson 5. Consistent action beats perfect strategy. The final lesson in the Robbins philosophy is the law of massive action. Many people fall into the trap of analysis paralysis, where they spend months or years looking for the perfect strategy, the perfect business plan, or the perfect time to start. Robbins argues that knowledge is not power, knowledge is only potential power. Real power is the ability to take action. A flawed strategy executed with massive intensity and consistency will almost always outperform a perfect strategy that is never started. Action creates momentum, and momentum is the great magnifier. When you are in motion, you learn faster. You adjust your course based on real-world feedback, and you build the psychological confidence that only comes from doing. Success is rarely the result of one giant leap. It is the result of the compound effect of small, consistent actions taken over a long period. Robbins emphasizes that we often overestimate what we can do in a year, but vastly underestimate what we can do in a decade. The key is to never leave the sight of a goal or an idea without taking some form of immediate action. Whether it's making a phone call, buying a book, or scheduling a meeting, you must lock in your intention with a physical act. This tells your brain that the goal is real and that the journey has begun. Consistency is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. Motivation might get you started, but your habits and your commitment to showing up, even when you don't feel like it, are what will get you to the finish line. To maintain consistent action, you must have a strong why. If your reasons for taking action are weak, your resolve will crumble at the first sign of resistance. But when you have a purpose that is greater than your own comfort, such as providing for your family or making a specific impact on the world, you find a reservoir of will that allows you to push through the dip. Robbins teaches that failure is just feedback. When you take action and it doesn't work, You haven't failed. You've simply learned one way that doesn't work. You then change your approach and take action again. You keep changing your approach until you find the one that yields the result. This ultimate success formula, know your outcome, take action, notice the results and change your approach, is the blueprint for achieving anything. It is the relentless, consistent application of effort that eventually breaks the wall and leads to the breakthrough. Remember this, strategies matter, but psychology decides whether you use them. Master your mindset, and success becomes inevitable. If this message inspired you, apply just one lesson today, and watch how your life begins to change.